Well, we were going to talk about Captain Marvel, but unfortunately, as Liam pointed out, I've used my two, Liam's used his two.
Ashleigh have a second thing to talk about?
No.
It could be Captain Marvel.
No, it's all right.
Could be Captain Marvel, but I don't know. Do you want me to talk about Captain Marvel?
If people want to know...
We could go down the rabbit hole.
Yeah, let's do a spoiler-free review. So with Captain Marvel, when's our special on it out? Because it was meant to be last Saturday.
No, it wasn't meant to be last Saturday.
When was it meant to be?
We recorded a special.
Know your own schedule.
We recorded a special. Our special episodes traditionally go up on a Thursday, but some of us have been busy and haven't had time to edit a special episode, so it'll be going up, Liam, when it's fucking ready.
When's that?
I don't know. I will tell you, so you can tweet about it.
Thank you. Okay, so we have a special that... Okay, by the time this episode goes up...
It'll probably be up on Thursday.
So it'll be up before this goes up?
No, this is going up early next week.
Okay, so after this episode, there'll be a Captain Marvel special.
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so spoiler free. So I want to hear Ashleigh's thoughts, because obviously we haven't recorded an hour-long episode with her, so I'm curious for her thoughts. But for our listeners, because they don't want to hear us just rabbit on about it again, I liked all the stuff on Earth, and I liked the 90s setting. I didn't like the beginning, like, sci-fi stuff, and I liked what they did with the scroll, and I really liked Brie Larson. I thought she was good. I thought the de-aging CGI on Samuel L. Jackson was good, less good on other characters, and it was a 3.5 out of 5 for me.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree, except I liked the sci-fi stuff, so I think it was a 4.5 for me, but I don't...
Yeah, you also really liked the whole
4.
90s thing and the soundtrack and basically everything. Yep. Oh, and the other thing is I didn't find it personally as female empowering as Wonder Woman, which seemed to have a more consistent theme of that, whereas Captain Marvel sort of just chucked it into a montage at the end.
Yeah,
that's how it felt to me anyway. So, Ashleigh, your thoughts on Captain Marvel?
Do I think she's the female hero we've been waiting for? No, not even bloody close. I would agree with you that I got everything that I wanted in a female superhero from Wonder Woman. I did not get it in Captain Marvel. And one of the two differences, and this is not me comparing Marvel to DC, the only problem is because we have so few female leading superhero movies, we're left with only two to compare. You can only compare the two, so you're not left with another choice. And it's just that Captain Marvel has a few tropes in it that are tropes I personally find a tad offensive when it comes to female representation in cinema. And to have this film do it was quite irritating for me, and I'm just like, oh, no, again. So she's not the superhero I'm rooting for. She's, as far as Marvel movies go, she's quite low on the list, but it's a Marvel movie. I love Marvel movies. There's not a Marvel movie that I hate. It's just, when it comes to ranking, it would just be like, which one did I not like as much? Yeah. But, I mean, special effects, I still think for any Marvel movie are outstanding, and as each movie goes on, they just get more and more intense and incredible. Like Infinity War just blew my freaking mind, and I'm sure Endgame is just gonna completely make my head explode, and I'm ready for that. I'm not entirely ready to make a judgment call on the character, because I feel Endgame will be the determining factor for me, and that's something that I stated in my review, because with each of our Avengers superheroes, they've had their individual movies, and we saw them in one thing, but you don't really know the character in its entirety until you see them in the group setting. And that's really when you start to form your full opinion. Like, you see Thor in his first movie, and you might think, okay, he was a bit of an arrogant douchebag, but the whole moral of the story was him learning not to be an arrogant douchebag. And then he comes to Avengers as a more realized person, and he's more willing to work with others and as a team and not take it all as, I'm the head honcho, I'm going to do great. So that film works because you've seen him learn a lesson, and he's now ready to be in that setting. There's now going to be a 20-year difference between Captain Marvel and Endgame. She can change a lot as a person in 20 years. We don't know what the hell she's been up to out in space. So I'm hoping that she in Endgame will be a more emotionally evolved character, because if she is not, I'm gonna hate her. that. Point blank period. Because for the first half of Captain Marvel, she was pretty much devoid of human emotions. At least the story explains it by saying, you know, she's part of these Kree people who are saying, no, emotions are bad. We don't do emotions. But nevertheless, even when she seems to have this kind of quirk to her where she kind of doesn't want to follow that rule, but everything seemed still very forced. It didn't feel organic. She wasn't relaxed. And I didn't feel there was anything feminine about her, which is the trope that I hate, which is if you're going to be a female and a badass, you can't be feminine. If you have feminine traits, they're a no-no because they're deemed a weakness. And I think that there are a lot of feminine traits that are actually strengths. Like a female superhero cannot be maternal because being maternal is a strength. And I always argue, have you heard of the expression, a mother lifting a car off her child? Or the mother lion protecting her cubs? There's power in maternal instinct. And these films like to say that that's not really a thing. So when I see... I'm not saying all female characters have to be feminine. It's the fact that they're almost never feminine. I'm just like, just give me one. Yeah. So when Wonder Woman came out and she's strong, she's powerful, but she's also soft and gentle and sensitive and very caring and has this real urge to care about how other people feel, not just, you know, war and fighting and all this stuff. She was well balanced. And so therefore for me, she was easy to root for because she has the qualities that I care about and that I can see in myself. To watch Captain Marvel be this very arrogant, full of herself, constantly with no emotions, I couldn't relate to that. And therefore I couldn't root for her. And it wasn't until the end of the movie when she starts to embrace herself and kind of shows a little bit of emotion that I saw a glimmer of hope. And then I'm like, okay, I kind of like you now. I hated her for the first half of the film. Second half of the film, like, okay, I think you're okay now. I'm warming up to you, but I'm not there yet. And I'm hoping she, like I said, she's more emotionally evolved as of Endgame, because then I can go, now I can root for you. Now I'm happy having you there. One thing I said was about the post-credit scene, when I assume that they're going to show that aspect in Endgame, and I said the one thing is I want her to have a reaction to finding out about what's happened to Fury. If she is completely deadpan and just responds with, okay, I'm going to kick some ass, I'm like, I will not be happy with that. You formed a bond with this person. You've created something where you're like, you need me. Anytime, doesn't matter where in the galaxy I am, I will come to you. That's a bond. That's something special. So you can't have her not react when they say he's dead. If she just says, okay, who's the guy who killed him? I'm going to kick his ass. I'll be like, fuck you. Fuck you. Just give me something. And then
no, that's fair.
Somebody on Twitter made a good argument because they saw somebody post a tweet saying they can't wait to see Carol Danvers be the one to take out Thanos. And they said, I would hate if that actually happened. And I agreed with them. You can't have someone who's just come on the scene be the one to take out the bad guy. I said I want it to be a group effort. I want to see every Avenger working as one to kick his ass. Because we already saw like half the Avengers taking him on, and that was already a struggle for them. You need everybody. And we haven't had everybody. We haven't seen everybody working together, all the Avengers unified since freaking Ultron. So if I don't see a unified one giant attack, every Avenger working as one to kill Thanos, I'm gonna be livid. If they say, yeah, Carol Danvers came home and just did a photon blast and kicked his ass, I'll be like, oh, no, not okay.
Yeah, I almost want to see that scene where she tries to take him on and then instantly gets beaten down. Because you always see that with, like, each of them tried individually and have failed. Yes. But equally, I don't know if we're going to get all of them working together, because that would somehow require half of them returning.
Yeah, but that's obviously going to happen.
Ones. It is, but at what point does that happen, if you see what I'm saying?
I'd say that they wouldn't be able to take on Thanos until they've gotten all the Avengers back. That just makes basic script sense.
Yeah.
They don't know where he is. They obviously know they don't have the power to stop him. And Doctor Strange has already put events in motion because he's the only way that things work out.
Yeah.
So it's obvious they're all needed. We saw half of them take him on and they were this close to just taking off a glove.
Yeah.
That was it. They weren't trying to kill him. They were just trying to take off a freaking gauntlet. And they were this close until fucking Quill screwed it up. He's the reason everyone's dead. I will stand by that. He's the reason. It's all his fault. He's a dickhead. But yeah, I want that giant combined effort. The Avengers in each of their films, and I don't mean individual films, I mean their Avengers films, they're at their best when they work as a team. That's when things are like the most impressive. Because they always have that thing in the movie. They did it with Avengers, they did it with Ultron, where people, like at the start, they try doing their own thing, and then it's not working, and they're like, okay, we really do have to work together, and then they do, and it's like, oh, so that's how it works.
So do you have any theories as to how they're going to get everyone back?
My theory is, Ant-Man.
Okay.
Yeah.
Quantum realm stuff.
I would say, obviously, he's found a way out of the quantum. I don't know how. I'm certainly looking forward to hearing how he says he got the hell out of there, but I would say, considering the quantum realm defies the laws of time and space, that would be a pretty way of trying to figure all this out. And especially, I haven't watched the new trailer. I'm avoiding it like the plague, but people keep posting freaking GIFs and clips in my feed. I'm like, stop it! So I saw that little picture of them all in these new Avengers suits, and it almost seems like something that's tailored to be in an environment that they're not suited for. So I would either say they're either equipped to handle space or they're equipped to handle the quantum. I almost think like they're all gonna just jump in there. He's probably got the van, jumping into the back of the van, entering the quantum or something like that. I don't know, but that's my theory. And I wish people would stop saying they want to see Goose in Endgame. It's been 20 years. I'm thinking maybe the alien cat is dead. That's what I'm thinking.
I don't know. I don't know if they're the race of whatever the Flurkins. I don't know what their lifespan is.
Well, maybe it went back to its home planet. Either way, I don't want to see it in Endgame.
I hope it defeats Thanos by itself. I hope that the final scene is all the Avengers near death, and then the Flurkin just eats him.
Ellie knows the one scene I've been waiting now for so long to see, and I'm hoping we get to see it, but I'm losing faith.
I hope we don't, just because it will annoy you.
It will really upset me.
What scene is that?
He just wants to see Iron Man hang out with Rocket Raccoon. That's all he wants.
Yeah, I think it'd be so good. I think Iron Man would just be like, I don't know what this is, and then they just like snark off, and it'd be brilliant.
That would be probably pretty entertaining. They're both pretty arrogant and smart and a bit full of each other. There's so much, and people didn't like some of the comedic dialogue in Infinity War. I found the levity in the middle of serious moments, I found it quite refreshing because I'm just like, I'm about to have a freaking heart attack with all the painful, sad emotions you're throwing at me. Thank you for giving me a break for 2 seconds. Like, just that moment where they're in Wakanda and they're all fighting and, you know, Thor's just like, I see you've copied my beard. He's just like, this is my friend Tree. He's like, I am Groot. He says, I am Steve Rogers. Just like, I needed that moment. That was great.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm looking forward to hopefully seeing more of that, although I don't know. We discussed it a bit on the Captain Marvel thing, I think. Like, I just think Endgame has such a difficult job of, like, following such an amazing movie. I think it's easier to end movies with a down ending than it is to end them with, and now everything's happy. So, yeah, I'm nervous but optimistic.
Who do we think's going to die
permanently? All of them.
Everyone.
How good a twist would that be if Thanos at the end just goes, no, they couldn't beat me. Snap, all the Avengers are dead. Sorted.
I potentially think Tony Stark and Captain America.
You think both of them?
It's
potentially, yeah.
I think 100% Captain America dies, and I don't know whether Tony will die.
I know that I did see a thing saying that Robert Downey Marvel movies, and I know that
I think they might just retire the character though.
And I know that Chris Evans' contract was up, but then he did kind of take to his Twitter to say that, no, I said that I finished filming the movie. He said, I didn't say I was finished with the series in general. So I guess that just means, but then again, you know, in these movies, someone can die and they can come back in a flashback, or they can come back because somebody's disguised themselves as somebody else. The possibilities are endless.
Yes, exactly. I want Thor to survive, because now that they've like done a really, really good Thor film, I'm like, okay, let's have another one. Also, Thor 4
That's a
just
matter of
rolls
opinion.
off the tongue nicely. Were you not a fan of Ragnarok?
No, I'm the opposite. I can't say they finally did a good Thor movie because I love all the Thor movies. So
Okay, right.
For me,
I love the first one
finish it
and the
from
third.
beginning. I will say the only downside is that every time, and I say this a lot, every time Marvel creates a female character, I like them, and those ones don't come back.
That's true.
My favorite female in the Marvel universe who didn't get enough screen time was Frigga, Thor's mother. Yeah. I loved her. She was maternal, gentle. She's the reason Loki has all his abilities. She taught him everything she knew. And then, of course, we finally got to see her have a fight, and that fight was great. She held her own. She was confident. She wasn't afraid to die either. She was a warrior. She was a woman of Asgard. And I sent a clip of her funeral to a friend because he hadn't seen the Thor movies. And I said, I know everybody hates them. I said, but I love them. And I said, here's one reason why I love The Dark World. Every time I watch that funeral, I cry. It's so beautifully shot. It's such an impactful moment that while we may not have seen much of her, this is a character who was such a beloved queen and mother and wife that you have an entire realm mourning her death. Every time they shot to a person's face, they were all devastated. Lady Sif was crying. The Warriors 3, they were crying. Everybody was just devastated that this incredible queen was no more, and I thought her funeral, giving her a true Viking funeral, was quite beautiful, and every time I watch it I just cry. Like, no, bring her back.
So what would you give Captain Marvel out of 5?
I gave it a 3.
3, okay.
I feel like 3.5 seems to be the going average for that film. Most of the reviews I saw.
That's the case for like most of the like Marvel like origin movies. It takes them. They got to get the origin stuff out of the way, and then once you've done all that stuff, then you can hopefully have a real good like.
Except Black Panther, I gave that 4.8.
Oh, I wasn't a huge fan of that. Yeah, I liked it. But again, it was the same sort of origin thing. Spider-Man was the one for me that I was like, oh, this is the one that works on like my level, because I love the coming of age stuff and all that.
I thought the chick he had a crush on was annoying. She didn't do anything. Just pointless.
Yeah.
She literally did nothing. I loved everything about Black Panther. The only thing I didn't like about it was I can't even remember his name. What's his chops without the arm? It was the only thing I didn't like about the movie. I found him
Andy Serkis.
Thank you. Yes. I found him quite irritating. Besides that, I loved everything. So as soon as he was dead, I was just like, and the movie, we're good now. We're good.
I also struggled with Martin Freeman and his American accent. That was a challenge.
I can empathize with that because I know he is native to your country, and yes. I have a tendency to go batshit crazy when I see actors trying to do an Australian accent, and I'm just like, please stop, you're embarrassing yourself. Like, we do not speak like this. Yes. Where are you getting this from? And the fact everybody's like, oh yeah, every time they try to have an American play an Aussie in a film, they love to throw in the word shrimps on the Barbie, and I'm like, we don't say that. I'm like, an American came up with that term, not us, because for starters, we call them fucking prawn, okay? Yes, some people do eat them on the Barbie, but nobody idiot.
See, another educational moment from Nerd on Net.